This is a brief demonstration of the new associative XYZ components for distance measures in NX December 2023 release, or NX 2312. So we're looking at a previous release. This is NX 2306 here, so the June 2023 release, and showing the previous behavior of how this used to work, right? In the very, very old versions of NX, we have always had, since then, we've had the ability to do components of the XYZ components of a distance measurement, right? And those have always been non-associative. And even with the old measure commands, as we went to do the new measure commands, we remembered kind of at the last minute that we needed to do those. And so we added those. They're still non-associative up to NX 2306. And we'll see that here. So as we do a measure here, for instance, from say this face down to this one, we get kind of a nice 3D measurement there between those guys. Right now, by default, we just show the minimum distance there. But if we go into the settings and we're looking at this here, we can go to the distance measurements and choose to turn on these X, Y, and Z deltas, right? In the previous release here, these are, again, non-associative, right? We can see them. They used to just be in the information window, but we put them in the scene dialog here. But that button to save them, right? That button to create an expression and make them associative is not there. In fact, the tooltip as you see it there says that these are informational only, right? We can select these from here, right? We can right click and copy these values if we want to, so it's handy to have those, but they were non-associative until now. So if we switch over to NX 2312, this is now looking at the newest version here. And as we look at this now in NX 2312, as I go to measure, you can do that same measurement between that face and this one down here. You'll notice that these delta X, Y, and Z distances now all have that associative option. We can also do an annotation for these, right? If we want to. If we want to just see that delta X annotation or delta Y or delta Z, we can choose one of those as well and put those out there. But again, we can have the maximum distance be associative and have any or all of these components also be associative here too, right? Now, just so you're aware, these values here, you'll see a 0 for X, the 135.9795 here for Y, and -85 for Z. These deltas that we see when we do a minimum distance measurement here, these turn out to be exactly the same distances as we get if we do a projected measurement here, for instance, between these guys in that particular direction, right? In particular, sorry, the projected orthogonal especially. These will be the same three, right, as we get there. If we choose that vector, this guy here, there's that -85, right? That 85 distance, again, is that projected orthogonal distance, minimum projected orthogonal distance. So we've always been able to get these numbers, right? But the idea of doing these using the minimum out there, if we take out the vector, we have the minimum distance between these two objects. We can get all three of those projections visible at the same time there, as we always have, but now again we have the option to make one of those associative. We can do that very quickly. Okay, so hope you find that useful.